got a chance.
Opportunity, promotion, blah, blah. You know, those are just words.
Words. All I have to offer is words. Just words.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
What's going on, team? Yo, everybody, because this is the first time we're recording on a Sunday ever, I feel like you look hungover, you're all fucked up in the game, but you look beautiful, don't worry about it.
I appreciate that. I don't look beautiful right now. I don't feel beautiful.
It's like everybody is like throwing them off their game a little bit, like this should have been done yesterday, but we made sure, because today we have a really cool special guest. But before I get into who he is, let me start off by introducing my main man. If you didn't know, you should know. You always know by now. My brother, Monsieur Los.
Comment ça va, crew? It's good to be back on Just Words on a special edition Sunday.
As always, the lovely, the spectacular Lady H. Love having me on deck.
Happy to be here.
My brother that we have as a special guest today, the first time we crossed paths, it was based, from a cousin of mine that introduced us, and I think you were a manager at a hotel, and you gave me like this beautiful tour of like the penthouse and all that good shit. And I was like, wow, man. At the time, I could afford to stay there at market rate value. Now it's a whole different situation, but some way, somehow, we ended up developing a really cool relationship as a friendship. But most importantly, you became my shaman.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
And so today we have on deck my brother, my shaman, my spiritual advisor, my guide, Alberto.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me. I'm humbled.
I just noticed you got a mushroom tattoo. I never even peeped that shit.
Oh yeah, man. These guys have been so influential in my life that I just had to sit down with my boy and make some art. And,
but it even got like a nice booty and all that.
Let me see.
It's a little spin. So it's a mushroom with a big booty.
Yeah.
Two very influential things in my life.
I thought when I saw the mushroom, I thought you're just a Super Mario fan.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's good.
I'm a fan of both.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Oh, this is actually just mushrooms as well. This is if you look up if you Google psilocybin, this will pop up, which is basically like the chemical, I forget the term for it, but it's basically like that's the chemical symbol for it, or the chemical definition of it, how scientists would write psilocybin.
Got it. So like the chemical compound or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
that's what it was.
Cool.
And then my boy designed this, and it was like, this was at a point when I was really using heavily exploring my mind and diving deep with mushrooms. So I just felt like they helped me a lot in my life. So I just felt like, hey, let me put something on my arm. And my boy's an artist, so it was just a very creative session that we had.
Sweet.
We were all took a microdose, and we're just connecting and vibing, talking about things. And then I had this idea, and he just brought it to life. Because he's a really cool artist. So that's where that
way
is.
better than a tattoo a friend of mine got from his other friend that he just put on a magic marker $, and the fucking guy let himself get tatted with that. And I was just like, wait, what? Is that for real? So for years I thought he was just magic markering his shit. And it was a fucking tat. And I was just like, why would you do that? But so what's really cool, prior to crossing paths with Alberto, my only awareness of mushrooms, and that would be the topic of conversation. Not only just mushrooms themselves, but human optimization. Because this path of discovery for me was something that has been fun and very, very eye-opening and mind-opening. It's been a whole different game for me. But prior to that, my only awareness of mushrooms was in Eminem's first album, Slim Shady LP, where he has a song about mushrooms and how this girl accidentally ate a whole bag and she just started fucking wigging out. And so the whole song is the story of her like losing her shit, and it's just, you know, when Eminem imitates the white voices, it's like, hey dude, you know, Dave, how many bags, you know, well, I don't know, how many did she take? Well, I took one, she took the other 22 caps, and I'm
He's like, dude.
Tripping.
yeah, and he's like, well, she's gonna die, dog.
22 caps. That's like, she's off in space.
And so she was crying, and so the song goes, you know, she's crying and she's talking to a plant, and she's crying to, you know, she thinks she's talking to a father, and all this other shit, right? So I never dove deep into it. I'm not into weed. The few times I've had it, it just fucking I go to sleep, like, and then I wake up hurt for no reason. I don't know why. Yeah. But when I took shrooms the first time, or one of the first times, and the best experience I had was with Lady H. We were sitting here on the couch. At the time, I had a couch, and we
have places to sit.
Yeah, we have places. So my living room doesn't just consist of a podcast studio.
There is
seating.
Gunshots for myself.
I confirm there is seating.
And I took them, and I fucking went into outer space, right? Like, this is what I saw in my brain. Went to outer space, and we were chilling in one of the pyramids of Egypt. Yo, and the only thing that brought me back to my living room was that while I was chilling in the pyramids of Egypt with my girl, right? And and I'm talking about like inside, like I was on some royal Egyptian shit, and you know, I had the fire, and there was just the lights, but you know, there was the fire there, and the only thing that brought me back to life was because we were listening to jazz music, and I was like, how the fuck are we playing? Who's playing jazz music in Egypt? And that's the only thing that brought me back to like here. I think you got them other way around. If you want to put them,
Flip them?
yeah,
This way?
yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Headphone issues. Don't worry about it. And
King Tut was a huge Miles Davis fan.
yo, no, and then I was like, and where are the musicians?
The slaves were all classically trained in jazz.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that brought me back, and I literally like flew right back down, and so it was a marvelous and wonderful experience, one that, you know, I'll never forget because shit, it was dope. But I thank you for opening me up to that, because my understanding of drugs has always been downers, you know, like, oh, people use them to like forget or whatever. Nah, this has been a way to what you introduced me to, something that a phrase that I never thought of, human optimization. And I do feel mad limber when I take them. I'm like, oh, I could move, I could do this. Because I don't even take fucking Tylenol. So you know, so once again, thank you for that. But tell me about your journey and your path into that whole rabbit hole.
So I tried mushrooms like as a teenager, when I was probably like, with my boys, like 15, 16. My very first experience with one was I was like 15, 16. We all copped an eighth. We all like, my boy had open crib, so we went to his crib. We all were gonna chill, smoke, drink, and do some mushrooms, right? Big mistake. We shouldn't have been doing all that. We should have just done the mushrooms. But you know, we weren't educated enough on it. And this is something that now that I'm educated on it, I look back on that experience and I realize, like, wow, these little guys are so powerful. But we knew nothing what we were getting into. Because basically that trip was, so we split an eighth. So each of us, it was probably like 4 of us or 5 of us. So each of us took like maybe like whatever the math is, like about half a gram maybe, right? So we took like a large microdose. We were looking for like, yo, we want a trip, we want to see like, we want like, you know, when people talk about mushrooms, people talk about like, this is from when I used to hear about mushrooms, or usually in general, people hear about mushrooms, it's like, oh, you're gonna trip balls, you're gonna see this, you're gonna see that. So that's what we were looking for at 15, 16. That's what we were looking for.
You wanted to see a fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, you wanted to see shit
In
come
your
out the
living room.
fucking wall, the walls coming to life. That's what we were seeking, but we didn't get none of that. We just got like the human optimization. Like I remember that trip, I felt like my senses like enhanced. I felt sharper, but I didn't realize. But back then, we were disappointed because we were like, oh, this was it. This is what's going on. One of my boys got sick. He ended up throwing up. But it's probably the mixture of him drinking also. Like we were pounding down a bottle, smoking, doing typical 15, 16-year-old shit that guys do, that boys do in Jackson Heights, Queens. So it's
Shout out
like
to Jackson High School.
for sure. So listen, one of my boys threw up. None of us like tripped balls like we were what we were seeking, but we were all like, I do remember like being with my experiences now as an adult. I look back on that experience and then I realized that like it was just basically a microdose that we took and we were optimized. Because I remember feeling super sharp and being so in tune with what's going on, and just looking at my boys and looking at everybody and just being like, wow, like like it's just enhanced perception. Basically, that's the best way to describe it, because all your senses are enhanced. Like your eyesight, you feel sharper. Yeah. Your hearing. It's like. I define the experience as human optimization because it basically makes you a sharper human if you're microdosing. If you dive into the world of recreational, which is what we wanted to do, we wanted to trip balls. We wanted the walls to come to life, the paintings and everything to just like, bam, scare us. That's what we were looking for, but that's more recreational. We weren't educated enough. So if we were seeking that, we should have took like an eighth each, like 3.5 grams each to blow our minds. But
y'all guys were looking like that scarecrow that Batman scene when he was like
we wanted a trip. We wanted a trip, man. 15, 16-year-olds experimenting with drugs. We wanted a trip. But we just got a microdose. So whatever. That was my first experience with mushrooms. Because of that experience, I was like, whatever. I tried mushrooms. I checked it off my list.
Got it.
I moved forward. Later, I got into it through just curiosity. Like I'm big, I do martial arts and stuff, so like yoga. I'm very like, I think that life, we need to achieve a balance in life, like 80% healthy, 20% garbage, maybe 60% healthy, the 40% garbage one day, the balance, that's the
balance.
key.
I'm big on balance, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? We can, it's nothing wrong with eating a little garbage, treating yourself to like, a bottle of whiskey or something, but there's balance. But so that was my first experience with them. Then later, as an adult, I just met people that, like along my journey in life, that told me they microdosed, and they were really, really like cool, dope, loving humans, right? Okay. And like I would vibe and click with these humans. Specifically, there was this one chick that I clicked with, like in Canada, like I was on a job in Canada with Roots of Fight. It's an apparel company. They flew me out to Canada. I was meeting the team. She was very, very like warm, welcoming, very friendly, very jolly, very happy, and just like a very.
I would have thought just because she was Canadian.
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's a Canadian on steroids.
It's like that Canadian energy, right? Because Canada's chill. But she was like, whatever, we vibed, and I was like, yo, like how do you like, I just asked her, I was like, yo, like what do you do like when you're not working? Because like you're just so jolly and so spirited and uplifted. And she's like, oh, I just microdose. And I was like, oh, microdosing. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, you mean like mushrooms and stuff like that? And then she was like, yeah. And then whatever. That's it. That conversation went somewhere else, right? And then like I started meeting more people that were like, oh, I just microdosed, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. So the curiosity, another one, yeah. I'm like, another one. I'm like, and similar, like, they're just very jolly, happy, loving people. So I was like, oh man, there's got to be some value in this. And then just like probably like 5 years ago, no, maybe like 4 years ago, maybe 3. The sense of time in my mind is very like skewed. But I was my boy who's a professional fighter, a black belt, one of my coaches. He's a professional fighter. He actually just had a fight, 2-1 championship. So he's basically, one day we were going to the pool and he's like, oh, like, yo, I got these mushrooms. And he's like, you guys want to try? And I was like, yeah, let's try it. And it was a microdose. So we all microdose. It was a great experience. From there, it just opened up the door of like, I wanted to do more research because I met humans that were very, loving, jolly, like just positive humans. That positivity like resonated with me. So I was seeking like, hey, like why are these humans, they're so cool, they're so loving, they're so like well-rounded humans, like they see value in it, so let me try it. So I wanted to try it again because I remember my experience as a youth and I was like, I don't know, like what's so, like I had it and like it wasn't that like memorable to me. It wasn't nothing. So I started Tarzan, my boy Tarzan, Ariel, one time shared a microdose with me. So then he just basically opened up that door. I started seeking more mushrooms and more knowledge. And then other than that, I just started microdosing. And then when I started microdosing heavily, like, basically when you start microdosing, you need to do it consistently for a couple weeks so you can realize the changes, because microdosing is very sub-perceptual.
You can take a sip, bro, because I feel like you pick up the cup and not
just don't
allow
wanna-
yourself the time.
I just don't want to like lose a train of thought.
No, please.
It's a fast train.
Yeah.
So I always tell people that, like, so I started microdosing, taking small dosages. You start small with any medicine, and then you gradually build on it to the recreational dose. That was my approach to it that I recommend and share with people that, you know, like my friends, you know, whoever wants to try it. So I just started microdosing a lot, and then I just realized, like, it's basically, when you microdose, like I say, it goes back to, I call it human optimization, because it makes you feel sharper. It's basically makes you feel sharper and enhanced. I compare it to, like, you know, like, that movie Limitless, when that guy had like a pill and then he was just like an optimized human. It's like that in reality, in real life. That it really does work like that if you microdose and find your optimal dose. It helps you feel sharper. It helps you. There's a lot of medicinal value in a microdose. There's a lot of fun in a recreational dose. There's a lot of like wild shit to do on a recreational dose, because it just basically opens up your mind.
What was the wildest shit you've done on a recreational dose?
Or experience.
Or experience.
Yeah.
Our experience. One time I had a really bad trip. I was in DR. One
On
time
shrooms?
on shrooms.
That's possible?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's all in your mind. It's what's in your mind.
that's
So you
true.
know, like
Okay.
it's all what's in your mind. So
See, that's the reason why I'm scared of taking it, because my mind is so fucked up. I almost like.
well, that's why you gotta start slow. Start slow. Start with the small doses, and then you start to notice, like, you know, you might be like, oh, today I feel like I'm optimized, Carlos. Like I'm way more focused. Or today I'm way more like.
Can't even
just-
imagine optimized Carlos.
Well, listen, if you're a performer now, then imagine if you microdose. You're gonna be like. It's gonna be a new Carlos that you're gonna want to meet him more and more. You're gonna want to activate that Carlos more and more. That's really what it's like. Cause look, think about it. Sometimes I microdose when I go to work. Like before work, I wake up, I take my vitamins, and I'll take a little microdose because I know that I have a busy day at work. I need to be like, I need to be on point. So I'll microdose before work because it helps me. It just like it helps my focus. It helps my mood. It helps my really. One thing that microdosing helps me a lot is like with my focus. So that's why I like coined it human optimization, because I felt like it helped that. If you look into studies of it, there's a lot of research and medical research and trials that are going on that support this. There's a lot of medicinal value in a microdose. Like it helps like focus. It helps ADHD.
So do you have any premonitions or thoughts as to why the medical industry will accept, ADHD, whatever the fucking pills are, right?
Yeah.
Like all that stuff, but they won't allow mushrooms to go into that spectrum in that field?
Because you know why? Because the government and governing bodies and officials that are in power in the world, they saw the power of mushrooms, and they saw what the mushrooms did to people. It helped them like become optimized humans, so perform better. But then as you dive into a more recreational dose or a deeper dose, mushrooms they're basically a catalyst for growth, for development. They're a tool for development. You can use it to develop yourself because it helps you get in your mind in ways that most people don't dig in their brain. And if you look up the science of it, and if a doctor tells you what I'm telling you, they'll put all these fancy terms on it, but there's studies that support this. So basically, like when you're taking mushrooms, you're basically opening up different highways in your brain that you normally don't drive down because you don't have this medicine, or because the way the human brain is set up, we create these stories that we tell ourselves. We create these filters that we use to cope with daily lives. We don't sometimes hold ourselves accountable with things. So mushrooms are very useful in the way that, like I said, they'll help you with your focus, they'll help you with with depression, with all kinds of like these mental conditions that people need help in, but people are getting pills for it, like from pharma.
I would assume that PTSD, that would be a big help.
Yes.
Like for Army veterans,
100%.
But did you watch
100%.
that episode? I mean, I only saw the first episode of that show. What was it? Exploring the Mind on Netflix.
I haven't.
With
I
Michael
haven't
Pollan.
watched it.
You need to watch it. Michael Pollan. He's a very, very good person to spread knowledge and to intro you to it.
They were talking about acid, right? That was the first one.
LSD.
LSD. And so the craziest, funniest story comes to mind is how the government fucked up by when they were doing the trials of the LSD, and they started giving them out to the public, thinking that, like, because they were trying them with the army people, but the army kids, they were just fucking up. They were tripping, right? And when they were giving them to the public, they gave them to like this college kid. I forgot who, the dude that like was spreading the word during Woodstock and all that. And he took that shit and ran with it. And they were like, yo, and the government was like, this is not what we wanted. Dude was just spreading the message to everybody. You gotta try this shit. It's amazing.
It's to support that. It was because basically it opened people's minds up, and people were questioning things like mushrooms makes.
Government.
Yeah, exactly. They were questioning the
Colors of
government.
language.
Yeah, why are we doing shit? Like, why are we gonna go to war right now when people just wanted to be loving? Like, when you take a big dose of mushrooms, I mean, you sometimes, like, when you go into like a recreational dose,
Yo, I cry a shit.
100%, 100%.
Be ready by the end of this episode.
Yo,
Might be
yo,
crying.
100%.
the tear ducts don't stop. And I'm like, what am I crying about? Everything is so beautiful.
Yo, you know one thing when I realized the power of mushrooms that just solidified like all the research I was doing was like a case like that. Yo, like, I'm like, listen, I hate driving in New York City because there's always congestion. People suck at driving. Parking is a fucking war. Fucking getting to your place is a fucking war. It's like if you see
You drove over here?
No, I took a fucking Uber. I did not drive. When I was texting you, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be late. But then you told me you relieved me with the Dominican time. I was like, we're good. I figured you were planning that, but I was just like, yo, I'm coming.
I'm just saying, you're like half Dominican right now.
Yeah, I am.
Besides that, you spent all that time in DR and you were an hour late.
Nah, he was on time. 2:30. We always have it for 2:30.
He said 1:30.
He set me up for 1:30.
I set him up for 1:30.
That's good.
But that's the the pre-time, the pre.
That's good. That's good. That's a good strategy. I need to implement that.
And you showed up on time.
You showed up on
So
time.
that's good.
Nah, you were mad late, bro.
Hey, I take it. 'Cause I think I was late. I said I was late, bro. I take
Bro,
it.
you were on time.
My man
take it, I
spends
take
way
it.
too much time in Boca Chica. He gets here 1 hour late.
I can't wait to go back, my brother. Yo, every time I go over there, I always take some microdoses over there, bro, and I just trip on the beach. Well, I don't trip. I take some doses. Sometimes I take some more recreational ones, and but it's amazing to be in nature, and then
It is beautiful. I had an experience where we took some on the beach, but in Long Island on Robert Moses Beach. So it was kind of split in two experiences, because one part was really beautiful where the sand was breathing and the water was beautiful,
the sand
shiny.
came to
That sound-
fucking life.
Like the earth was literally
couldn't-
breathing. And then the other side was that there was the and then these guys shouting behind us.
some
that were
Dominicans
part
on
of
the beach
group.
with the hookah.
No, in our group.
This is mad
And I was
loud.
like, stop yelling at each other. I need to see the earth breathe.
And we're like, who's yelling? We just saw
Because you know how we talk.
Because they're optimized. They're hearing.
We're
They're
like,
sharp.
we're just having a chat.
The whole time I had my eyes closed, I was like, can y'all motherfuckers shut the fuck up?
Literally.
It was wild because at one point, right, for some reason it just got mad quiet, and we're just there, and I look at her and I was like, yo, you seen this shit? She goes, what? And I'm like, yo, the fucking earth is breathing.
I told you that.
What are you talking about?
I told you that.
Fine.
I was the one who pointed it out.
I was like, no, the earth is
I'm
breathing.
glad you did that. You always take it that.
Yo, what? I'm the fucking. Yeah, all right, well, fine, whatever.
Look at that human connection that mushrooms facilitates.
And I was just like, yo, this shit is crazy. And then out of nowhere, behind me is like screaming.
Oh my God.
And then, but he's Puerto Rican, but he's Dominican at this point. And it's like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? And then everybody started screaming. And I forgot who else with us. And then motherfuckers had the big boom box.
Oh my God.
And they were just playing loud ass music where the speakers blown. The speakers fucked up, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just hearing that. I'm just like,
It's that optimization. You're sharp. Your senses.
and I was just like, yo, can y'all just chill the fuck out and just be for 5 minutes? So that in itself has been, but the crying, yo, I can't stop
It makes you emotional, yeah.
You always mention that to me. That you constantly cry.
Does.
No,
It does.
he does.
Yo,
It does. I do too. When I take big trips, I get real emotional. Like I usually so I microdose a lot. I'm microdosing all the time. I take some breaks, but then every now and then I do dig deep in my brain. I take a really big dose and like blow my brains out.
Do you get at any point? I mean, because I haven't experienced it, because I haven't gone to the. I am personally scared to go to the next level, but do you develop a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you just get used to it.
Tolerance.
Does your tolerance ever get low, too high, and you're like you just got to keep pushing and pushing, or how does that work out? Because I'm a pussy, man. Like going, I'm just too shook to let go of that control.
Me too.
And I'm just like, because where am I gonna go? I've been to fucking Egypt, nigga.
You've been in your mind. You drove down that Egyptian highway in your mind.
Oh, literally.
It's an Egyptian highway you had in your mind.
Yo, one time we went to space. Remember, I was laying in bed and I flew out the fucking window in my brain.
I remember that. Yeah.
I literally like got up and just flew out the window, and I was chilling in space.
There was one time we took it. The last time I think mine dose worked, but his didn't, and so it smacked me in the middle of Star Wars. We were finishing up. What was the show? Mandalorian. It was.
We were
close to
watching
finishing it
Mandalorian.
up.
Yo, she had a fucking beautiful trip.
Oh my god, so
and
beautiful!
amazing.
And I
And
went
it
to the
hit me.
bedroom. I was like, oh my god, the ceiling's breathing. Everything's beautiful.
She's like, Mando's so sexy. He's like, Mando's.
And he's just bitter that he didn't get
I
the
was
trip.
looking at her, I was like, this fucking bitch, man. She just left me behind.
Her rocket ship fucking sailed and yours didn't.
bro,
And it hit me
so
quick.
tight.
Within 5, we were sitting down eating. I was like, it's going to be another 40 minutes and it'll kick in. And within 5 minutes, I put the fork down. I was like, okay.
Well, maybe you were probably on an empty stomach. It probably affects you.
yeah.
It's like medicine,
Oh
you know.
my
It's
God.
like medicine. You got to treat this like medicine. You got to respect these guys. They're called fungi. They're called mushrooms. They're called whatever it's called.
Oh, fun guy.
Fungi, like fungi, like fungi,
Fungus?
like
Fungi.
fungus, yeah,
Wait.
like fungus, fungi. There you go.
Like O'Hare.
You gotta.
Yo.
What?
Like O'Hare. The Sergeant O'Hare.
Oh, O'Hara.
O'Hara.
I don't know.
Fungi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same thing. They are so powerful. You gotta respect these little guys, man. I'm telling you, these little guys are so like they give you whatever you need. You know, when you went down that Egyptian highway, it's like it opens up your mind in so many ways. Like when people tell you, like, "Oh, I took mushrooms." And like I saw Godzilla, I saw this, I saw like aliens coming to get me. I'm like, yeah, because that was in your mind. That's what you wanted to see, so it sets you up for it, which is shows you how powerful these mushrooms are. So like, if you have like these happy thoughts in your mind, or you got this thought of Egypt that you want to explore, or that you've been like thinking about in the back of your mind, maybe a trip you're planning, like. The mushrooms will sometimes facilitate that experience. Now, if you got like some dark demons or some closets, some shit you're hiding in the closet, hey, listen, that's when sometimes the bad trip comes because you got some work to do in your mind.
Exactly. That's where it kicks in with me.
So wait, hold on. We deviated. Now that you mentioned that, what was your bad trip in DR? My bad.
Oh man, it was.
I'm so sorry. Like
you're right. We asked. So it was just.
Back in.
Let's go back to topic.
Back to the topic. All right, we're back in.
So very briefly, the trip was just. It was bad only because I didn't follow protocol. You should follow protocol when you're taking recreational doses, or you are taking anything larger than a microdose. The given protocol is basically you need to have a spotter. You need to have somebody there that can, in case your mind takes you down a negative road and you can't get out of that negative road, you need somebody with positivity that can come make you feel comfortable and come help you like come down into a more positive state. So it's very, very important that like when you take psychedelics, not just mushrooms, when you take psychedelics in general, that if you're going to blow your brains out and have a really big dose because you're just, whatever it is that you're seeking from that dose, recreational or some like maybe internal work that you need to do, you should have a spotter there because the mushrooms are very, very powerful and the human mind is very, very powerful. And my experience in when I had a bad trip was basically I couldn't control my mind. I realized what was going on. Like I took a really big dose, and because I have taken bigger doses before, and
what do you consider a big dose for you? Like what's your
for me, man? Oh man, I took one time like one time I took like 5 to 7 grams.
Holy shit.
But it was a more milder strain of mushrooms, so that's why I upped the dose because, like I always start gradually. So I've done like every size dose until that. So like I've done like I started from 0.1 all the way up to like like grams, 2 grams, 3 grams, 4 grams, 5 grams, 6 grams. I've done the research. Like I've done, like, I'm telling you, once I discovered these and the power of them and the medicinal value of them, and I saw like how much the research and how much there's a little bit of science and like good names like Paul Stamets, Michael Pollan, the guy that you mentioned that did the series on Netflix. I realized I started experimenting a lot because I wanted to see how what the fungi do, like what is the value of this, what they can do for me. So I've taken all size dosages, but this time I took, like when I was in DR, I took like 10 grams because
Holy shit.
In the past I've taken like 7 grams. I've taken 7 grams, and then when I took the 7 grams, it had I remember that, again, I didn't use a spotter because I'm kind of just like, I don't know, sometimes I don't follow the rules.
I don't need nobody.
Sometimes I don't follow the rules. I was doing research. Actually, I don't follow the rules because I was doing research. I was like, this is research. So, like, I've already done 4 grams. I've done 5 grams. Let's go to 6. You get me? Because I want to see why people say, like, I want to... That helped me realize why you need a spotter every time I up the dose. Because I got to a point where I couldn't control my mind.
And you take it in one shot? Like,
yeah, just one shot. Yeah, one shot. Just let and sit, like, 30 minutes to an hour for it to kick in. If you have food, it affects you in a different way. It's like medicine.
And I saw that you bought the pills, and then I saw you the actual mushrooms. How do you guys eat it? Do you?
You can. So it's recommended to
Before I used to just take the mushroom itself, but I hate the taste. Because I'm not. The taste for me is whatever.
We know. We don't have to.
And that shit, it was like.
Yeah, it's a little
like that's how I was chewing it,
not
right?
Pleasant. You can just saute it in garlic to make it good.
That's what I'm saying.
Saute it in garlic, you can. Yeah.
But so then when he told me about you could just crush them and put them in pills, and I was like, all right, cool. So you get these little vegetable capsules, and then you can take them like that. That's been my way of like the last couple of years doing it now. I bought like 1 pack of 100 capsules, and I still got them.
So that shroom that he gave you, would you do the same thing? Would you just break them down
and then just pack it in? But before it was just the chewing. She chews it. Like you don't
It's
mind.
fine. Last time I had it, I put it on a pizza.
Yeah, you can. There's different ways of consuming it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a mushroom, so treat it like food.
Aside from these fungi and psilocybin, like the psychedelic ones, like mushrooms in general are very, very powerful. Like if you look into the like how healthy mushrooms are in general, like just like your lion's mane is good for your for memory. You have like chaga, reishi. These are all good for like endurance, for immunity. There's like the whole mushroom family, the whole fungi family is so beneficial to humans.
Mushrooms are fascinating, just as vegetables too. Like all the science behind it and how they grow. And I think I need to look it up, but I think like
the way they grow, the mycelium.
Yes,
the mycelium. It's like a network of like they just spread. They spread. I'm telling you, there's so much medicinal value that the reason they are illegal and they're a Schedule 1 drug is because the higher authorities that had control over things that over drugs saw like, oh no, these humans are getting too smart. These humans are going to be, why are they questioning war? Why are they becoming loving humans? The world does not operate off of love. It operates off of greed and money and big business,
and
because
fear.
that's just, and fear and all. So
a lot of fear.
Big business and money. If the world operated off of love, we wouldn't be where we are right now in this world. We can't have that because we wouldn't have made the advances that we've made as a human society. If we were all just loving fucking humans that loved everybody and shared everything, we would probably still be in the fucking wild, like hunting for shit, but we would probably be sharing the shit that we hunt because we are so loving.
It always blows my mind. Like once I learned that the way the U.S. government used a tactic to eradicate the Native Americans was to exterminate the buffalo, and by exterminating the buffalo, they made the reason that they did that was because the Native American was so symbiotic with the buffalo, and they used every part of it. So from the bones to the skin to the food, like everything, right? Like the Native American praised it. So the U.S. government made it be known, like for every buffalo you kill, it's a dead Indian. Like that was the way that they were advertising.
They symbolized that.
And when I learned that shit, it blew my fucking mind about how you can be symbiotic with nature, not need anything else. But the same government that asks us not to question them is the ones that suppress us and all this kind of shit. Like you go down that I went down that rabbit hole,
and it's not to sound like a wild conspiracy theorist. This is history. This happened.
course.
This is reality. And so, when it comes to this being a drug, that it's a controlled substance, then you learn and look into shit. It's because you can't tax it.
Yeah.
So if these motherfuckers can't make money off of it, then they're gonna be like, "Yo, chill. Let's not let them have it."
Right. 100%.
I've always wondered, like, what separates the wild mushroom that I see and the mushroom that we can get. Like, how do you know what's good and what's not?
I was wondering that when he showed me the mushroom he brought today. I was like, how do people pick out the special mushrooms?
Yo, because the shit you gave me was
Because the foragers, especially when in the forest, like for food, they'll say like, no, that's a poisonous mushroom. This is that. I'm like, exactly. Like, how do even people know that? Like, I know certain colors that, the pigmentation of it tells the difference between one to the other, food wise and food. I don't know if these are the same criteria when it comes to, microdosing.
I guess you have to be a mushroom specialist, like a mycologist it's called. Like have
really?
to, like, there's people that specialize in mushrooms. So like if you show them a mushroom, they will be like, oh, that's this or that. That's a non-psychedelic one. There's a lot of psychedelic strains of mushrooms that you can find. As far as finding them in the wild, like in New York City, we probably won't find any psychedelic mushrooms like walking on the curb. But like if you're in another state or another country that is more like grassy, you might find them. Like so going back to like this guy Michael Pollan, the guy that did the series on Netflix, How to Change Your Mind, he has a book on it. And in his book, he gives a little intel of like certain places of where you can source mushrooms, and like he kind of gives people a little help, like, hey, this is where you can get them.
Oh, that's nice.
And then
That's very nice. Good.
but he
Thank you,
kind of blew up a spot because it was like another person
next day
that's
seized.
another person that's a big influential or credible person, speaker regarding psychedelics. He was like, oh, I wish he wouldn't have shared that, because basically Michael Pollan chatted with Paul Stamets, and Paul Stamets put him on to like, hey, this is where you can source some mushrooms in the wild. And then Michael Pollan like published it in his book. He blasted it out. So like,
that's fucked up.
So Paul was like, one day he was on the Joe Rogan, or he was on somewhere. But like if you look at Paul Stamets, he's credible mushroom guy. You got to look him up, get into him, check him out. So he basically said, yeah, man, I wish you wouldn't have shared that, because it was basically like just that was like something you keep on the low.
It's
It's our own little secret.
Yeah, it's a little secret, but he put it in a book. The guy put it in a book. But it's good information for the people. I mean, that's like in another state. We can't go get it right now. We can't go to that spot right now because this is a different state. But,
It's probably all gone too.
It's probably all gone now. With
we should look up other areas that have the same features.
Yeah, things like that, grassy. Because some mushrooms grow on
We
shit.
should go
They
on
grow
a-
on pig shit.
We should
Have you
go
ever
on a
heard that?
hiking trip and go scouting for mushrooms.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Right?
Yeah,
Video
but
episode.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
we
thing.
probably we shouldn't eat them.
We shouldn't
we
eat
shouldn't
them
eat them because
because-
we're not knowledgeable enough.
No, I'm saying
we're gonna
but,
fucking
we'll go figure it out.
yeah. Read the book and then let's like there's a whole lot of mushrooms out there.
But yo, my bad. Back on topic. What the fuck was your bad trip?
Bro, I just took a really big dose and then I couldn't control my mind, so I took 10 grams. I was in a poor state of mind, so that was the big red flag there. You can't be in a poor state of mind. If you are in a poor state of mind, if you're in a poor state of mind, you need to have a spotter, because your spotter will help you navigate that negativity that your mind opens up.
What did you see?
It was just so it got really bad when I realized that I couldn't control my anxiety. I couldn't control, like, I got really anxious because I realized, like, I wasn't in a safe place. Since I was in a foreign place, I was in an Airbnb, I was traveling, I just didn't feel safe. Not that I wasn't in a safe place. I mean, I was in an Airbnb,
It's
like
fucking Flanagan's.
I was in a nice place, but I just felt like, oh,
You
fuck,
people.
like, I kind of no, it's not that. Nah, not at all. It was just more in my mind.
No, you were in an unknown
No,
place.
but this is what
I
I was
was
getting to before, where I was saying that's just what I'm afraid of, because my mind, it's a little fucked up most of the time.
Well, that's why you need a spotter.
Like, my anxiety is always off the roof. My stress is constantly at 100, at least 95%, like 90 all the time.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You know this.
Yeah. But
Well, Carlos,
My stress is always off the chains, and you know that my anxiety is constantly like bursting.
well, it'll help you if you microdose. You got to microdose though. You can't
true.
take the big recreational doses. You got to microdose. So if you start small,
you could tighten it.
if you
from
start
here.
small,
No, from the other one.
oh, this one.
This one?
I got you.
Yeah, so like if you want to pull it up a little bit more.
Yeah, there's good. I think there's good.
There you go. Beautiful.
So if you start small, it'll help you gauge how your body reacts to it. But if you start with like I always recommend you start with a 0.1, like a small microdose. That's the smallest microdose you can take.
Thing is that motherfuckers get anxious and they want to feel something off the rip. You know what I mean? At least that's been my experience when I see other people take shrooms, and I know this because one of the early camping days we had, remember? And I brought mad shrooms and I gave it to everybody. I gave it to my uncle, everybody. Right?
Yeah, it was a waterfall.
And
first night one.
Yo, that was a dope experience. We went to Catterskills Fault, took some shrooms. We did a hike. Yo, my man, this fucking hike is fucking ridiculous because the amount of steps is like 20,000 steps. I was about to say 2,000, but no, it's like 20,000. It's ridiculous.
Steps down first.
Yeah,
to the waterfall.
Down is the workout because you're like shook. You don't want to fall, sober or not. And going up, oh my fucking God. But when we went down, all you saw was in the deep abyss of darkness, the moon, and then the water as like the silhouette to the moon, and it's just coming down, and I was just like, wow, this is my one moment with Mama Pacha, whatever the word for Pachamama, like whatever it is that you call Earth, right? Like
yeah.
And I was just like, this is dope. And everybody's like, what the fuck, man? I don't feel nothing.
Listen, the beauty about mushrooms is that it really connects you to nature like that. It makes you appreciate nature. You know why? Because mushrooms come from nature. The mycelium network underground is so powerful. Like there is, you could even take like, there's times where you, there's so much value in the mycelium that sometimes like you can, I lost my train of thought about mycelium. Let's circle back because there's something really interesting, but I just lost it about mycelium, like a fun fact about mycelium. But to go back to like the nature thing. So you notice that like LSD, going back to LSD, is another psychedelic. It's similar to mushrooms. But I personally have never tried LSD.
I haven't either.
But with my friends who have and have also tried mushrooms, they say that the difference is that like mushrooms connect you to nature. You feel more connected to nature. With LSD, you feel the same thing, but minus the nature. You feel the same thing like mushrooms, but minus the nature. And it just becomes LSD is like made in a lab.
So
Wait,
tried-
chemicals.
is LSD acid?
LSD is
yeah.
acid. Yes.
It's like it's like a residue off
it's-
of wheat or some shit like
It's
that.
acid, right?
LSD is
right.
basically so.
So I've done acid.
So you've done acid? Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about your
How was
experience on
that
acid.
No, it's just like you said. You not just said that because the music was like I was in a club.
Yeah, so it's like enhanced
God
perception.
Dude, it's enhanced. Like everything is so enhanced. Like the colors, the lights were like bugging me out, and the sound was like vibrating in me. Like
You were in a gay club, weren't you?
They play great music.
actually, the club was 2 levels, so it was a gay and a normal.
Yes.
Do you remember what floor you were?
And a normal. What the fuck do you mean a normal? It's a fucking club, bro.
The normal people.
The
Why you gonna say some shit like that? No, man, no. Yo, one floor different, the other floor different. Honestly,
One black, one whatever. It's all like.
I just fucking with you, man.
No, but the music, the lights were fucking me up. So I didn't know what I was like, I don't know what was happening. And I kept seeing things, and my visualization was like maximized to 1,000. The colors were like speaking to me. I was like, what is happening?
Oh, you didn't accept the colors? That's the best part.
No, I was. It's
Fractals. There's a name for it. It's like the fractals. The fractals.
Remember, it's the music.
Yeah.
The heat. The people, everything at the same time was a lot happening, and I didn't know how to digest all of that. And it was just too much.
My eyesight.
Meanwhile, I could think where you're take a mushroom and you're in nature, everything is sort of calm.
No, but everything gets like a gauzier blur, like a little. I don't know. I think that's what I call it in Photoshop.
Yeah. You're talking about the Gaussian blur.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's the term.
and
right? And I'm
I-
like, ooh.
On top of
the
that,
lights are beautiful.
I think I mixed that up with ecstasy.
Oh shit.
That's. I mean, you took LSD and then you took ecstasy, which is like they're both powerful like psychedelics, but they should be taken on its own. Like you should respect the power of each. But like we don't know that. Like
niggas like, oh, let's just take everything.
We
I don't
don't.
smoke crack.
because it goes back to my experience. Yeah, it goes back to my experience as a 16-year-old. fucking smoking, taking
Exactly.
mushrooms, drinking. It's like, we want the experience. So you were seeking the experience.
I want to feel
But the thing
everything.
And then I leave the club at 9 a.m. I'm like, what just happened? My life just
experience.
You left the club at 8 a.m. 2 days later.
Yeah, that's an important detail. That's an important detail.
I walk out of there. It's like, what just happened? It's daytime. I can't see. Everything bothering me. I'm like, what is going on? And yeah, maybe I messed up. I probably should not have mixed, obviously, alcohol.
I fucking
Yeah.
hate ecstasy. Ecstasy, makes me
Sweat.
No, it's sweat. I gotta
Sweat.
drink tons of water, and my fucking jaw, I am grinding the shit out of my.
You gotta try
fucking-
MDMA though. You gotta try pure MDMA, not ecstasy. Ecstasy is like those nice little fucking pills where they put
Yeah,
this
little
sample and all,
Flintstones.
all that shit. That's all visuals to sell like a product to fucking the masses.
Yeah.
But in reality, ecstasy is like basically MDMA mixed with other shit to form that pill. But if you try MDMA, there's a lot of medicinal value in MDMA as well. It makes you feel like, so MDMA, they use that a lot to treat PTSD.
Oh, really?
So there's a lot of advances right now in MDMA research. They're probably on clinical trials 3, which is a big 2 or 3, which is a big advancement in the study because it's history in the making. That hasn't been done before. Because again, it goes back to the government fucking deeming all these psychedelics as Schedule 1 drugs. So it's it's fucking nobody fucks with them like that.
Okay, a question that's going to interrupt the flow, but why did the government change their response to MDMA and they decided to give the green light for studies? Oh, not just MDMA, but in general. Why is
Because
there market
psilocybin
opening?
is also getting studies now,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
So what's changed?
Well, a lot of these studies are not based in the U.S. Some of these are in Canada. Canada's
why.
far ahead of the game with us in psychedelics.
And I see
they're-
in Sweden,
they're ahead of
too.
the game.
Sweden too, yeah.
There's other places that are ahead of the
They've
game.
always been progressive.
In New York,
Wherever there's a lot of white people. No, I'm sorry.
listen,
Yeah, true.
it's still a Schedule 1 drug in the United States. So
Yeah.
most of this research, I could be wrong. My brain's a little foggy right now. I do smoke a lot of weed, so I do a lot of research. But I sometimes, I should have bought a notebook with all my notes.
I understand you.
With all my
I
notes.
get
With
it.
all my notes. But there is right now in the States. There's only so most of the research is in Canada. Most of the there's this MAPS. MAPS is if you look up it's the multidisciplinary MAPS. Again, I wish I had my notes, but
Okay.
if you look up MAPS, they're a big organization that's backing this research, that's driving this research, and more of that. And MAPS is based in Canada, so a lot of in the States it's still Schedule 1, but I believe certain practitioners have licenses to do research, so they can do the research, which is facilitating the research and the information that's being brought out, but it's not recreational, it's not available for people. The people that are they're doing a lot of research with MDMA, and a lot of people basically they have licenses for this, they're approved to do this research and to treat soldiers that need this treatment, that are trying it. So it's all experimental. So the people that are doing it in the States are based off of they got special privileges, they got special licenses or they applied for it. So with this for research purposes only. So eventually with this research, as we continue to dive in it and it continues to make advancements, hopefully it's not going to be classified as a Schedule 1 drug anymore, and it'll be more readily available for medicinal or maybe recreational purposes too, who knows. But the medicinal is more of the research is going towards the medicinal, but eventually it'll get there.
Yeah,
That's to
well,
answer your question.
Weed got there, so I think only a matter of time.
Yeah,
before
weed
mushroom
got
does.
there.
Yeah.
But I don't like weed.
Yeah.
No,
My bad.
We know that. We know you don't like weed.
I don't either. It's a different high that I don't like.
It's completely different. It's
But
not a different
I
animal.
like smoking it better than the edible.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Edible,
And it's crazy because I'm the other way around. I'll do an edible before I do the smoking,
Yeah.
but it doesn't allow me to go anywhere.
And well, I found
No, it
out. I
doesn't.
found out the same way you do with mushrooms. With the weed, that this different weed do different things for you.
Yeah. Different strains affect you
Different
different
strains,
ways.
different ways. Sometimes some of them make me hungry, sleepy.
Yeah.
They get me more active.
Una hambre del diablo.
For sure. The
Yo,
munchies, oof.
I be getting hungry.
Forget about it, brother.
I'm like,
I mean,
hold the fuck
remember the
up.
last time I had edibles that I almost called the cops on myself.
I guess so one time
I believe it, brother.
Oh, you remember that underground weed spot?
Buddha Chief.
The
Yeah.
smoking spot I took you to. So I brought him a chocolate, but it looks like
No, we went together.
you
we
were
were
there?
together, and
That's
so
how
we were
myself fucked
smoking.
up.
So we were smoking and we were chilling. So we buy our weed and everybody's lighting up. It's chill. We're in the sofa. Like, you have beautiful.
I remember my boy asking me, "Yo, how is this legal?" I said, "It's not."
It's not.
It's not.
It's literally like one of those elevators, the old school elevators that take you up.
It was a dope spot.
It was pretty dope. It was on 30-something Street.
Yeah, you like, my nigga, but don't blow them up.
Nah, they moved. They moved. They're no longer there.
Okay, yeah, pero
They're no longer there anymore. They're in Brooklyn now, I think.
Oh, mira, pero todavía.
Damn, bro. Damn, bro.
But Buddha Cheap Plus, some niggas like. But anyhow, so, coño, pero loco, you're not letting me do nothing today? This nigga's like blowing my every
I'm
angle.
just joking with you, bro. Okay.
So we were smoking, and that was a mistake that I did. That I started puffing away like a madman, and then just get.
Oh no,
this
you
guy,
thought it was hookah?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm a smoker. That's what I do. I smoke weed all the time. The edible, I was new to it. So we all purchased this chocolate, which was delicious. This coconut, and it was like
That shit look mad artisanal.
coconut.
Even the packaging.
No,
I was like, wow, this is beautiful.
It was a coconut chocolate thing. It was delicious. And I take one bite. Cool. Wait half an hour. Nada. Nothing happens. Like, this shit is trash. Give me another one. Take another one.
That's a mistake.
This shit doesn't do nothing.
Oh,
You anybody got any gummies? Give me a gummy.
Oh, no.
Pop a gummy. Once I got here,
no.
el hambre que me dio, the hunger we have, so we ended up getting French fries.
No, you went home. You said, "I want Ritz crackers." I said,
Yes,
"What the fuck?"
Yes.
It says that.
So
But like number one, yo, we got out the cab, and I'm like, so yeah, because we're talking two different experiences actually, two different moments. The time I was talking about the chocolate was that you had that panic attack, but no, that day, yo, we get out the car, and I went to go to Chinitos and get fries, and I was like, damn, man, I'm hungry. Fuck this shit, I'm gonna get fries, and he goes, nah, you know what I want? I want some fucking Ritz crackers, yo.
It's those munchies, brother. Those shits
And I'm
are
like,
fucking...
do they even still sell them shits?
What? We should just be having 2 for $5.
Ritz crackers, yo, we're gonna talk.
Yeah, you can crush those up and fucking...
they are better than the knockoff brands, which is why it had to be Ritz.
It has to be Ritz.
No,
Ritz.
Yo,
is
Ritz
key.
is fire. Ritz is fire. It's key. You can fucking
Ritz
make
is-
breaded chicken
thank
with
you.
Ritz,
Yes.
baby.
No, I hear you.
Bash
They're
those shits
buttery,
up.
salty.
Yes.
They're perfect.
Ritz
Yo, but-
nailed it.
But have you made some like chicken cutlet with some Ritz? Fucking crush those shits up like crumbs and shit.
man.
Season that shit up. Yo, I'm telling you, man.
Going back to the high. Going back to the high. I'm upstairs laying in my
Hungry.
bed, and it kicks in like 3 hours later. And I thought I was having kidney failure. I thought I was having a heart
Gotta
attack.
do that.
Shout out to the Stones. Kidney Stones.
I got in the shower with cold water. I was like, I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
It was, and I had the phone in my hand. And it's
Did you curl
911.
up? Did you curl up? It only counts if you curl up.
Man, listen,
I think I
psychedelics is nothing like that. Psychedelics is a good time. It's a catalyst for
why-
human
yes.
growth.
That's why I
weed
like
is
it. I prefer
completely
to
different.
weed.
Yeah, weed
Yeah.
is completely
I prefer
different.
to weed.
Like weed is, it's not. Well,
It's a
weed,
downer.
Yeah, we.
To me, it
depends.
is a downer to me.
Yeah.
I know that it's a down. I know every time you smoke, it's like,
There's a lot of
What the fuck I'm
medicinal
doing?
value. There's a lot of medicinal value in marijuana, but like I feel like the way we grew up, I abused weed. We used to smoke like 10 blunts a day just for the sake of smoking it.
Too. It like, you know, I mean, I didn't go down that path, but a lot of my people did. And like you smoke it like it's cigarettes, you know, like how
Yeah,
niggas smoke
100%.
like fucking. It always blew my mind when people would smoke a whole pack of cigarettes in a day. 20 fucking cigarettes. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
changed now.
They still do, yeah. Well, the vape is. They're
I'm
smoking
just-
500 in the day
and I'm
because those are
like,
500 pulls.
What the fuck? And so with weed, I felt like it went from, oh, let me smoke a nick or a dime. No, motherfuckers are buying apes and fucking this and that. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Take a pull here and there. Yo, you get blunt it out. My tolerance is shit.
Well, you're in like back in the day. This is like the mecca of fucking weed. This is like the home of the haze, baby. The shit that they had
Yeah.
out here is like the fire.
Yo.
Me and my boys go back in the day. We used to like.
But the more porn, the more fucked up you got. And it's but fucked up was like, yo, tu tirao, like you just in the floor,
Like a vegetable
laid
in the
out,
couch.
vegetable.
You're like in the couch, like indica.
Indica,
It's probably like-
indica. I'm assuming it's all indicas, and
I didn't care for that shit. I was just like, yo, what the fuck we doing here? That commercial, this is your brain on drugs.
With the fried egg.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's classic.
I was like, that's how I felt. I'm like, no, yeah, you know what? They're right. I shouldn't be doing drugs. Say no to drugs.
Yeah.
And whatever. On occasion, I'll take a pull here and there, but when I discovered fucking shrooms,
You saw the value
I was
immediately.
like,
A lot of
You
value.
saw the value in it.
because I don't even take a fucking Advil.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And I was just like, yo, this shit is crazy. Because even now, I took I took 0.3 before we started. And I'm just chilling.
You're just chilling.
And I'm just like, oh, meet up. Still functional, whatever. And if anything, I drink less when I do shrooms.
Well, like that's the beauty about microdosing. Like, anything below half a gram is a microdose. You just have to find your dose. I always recommend start with the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 and see how you feel. But the like whether you're doing a 0.1 or you're doing a 0.5, you have to trust the medicine is doing its work. Like it's going in your brain, it's expanding, like it's facilitating these connections that don't normally happen. So that is the beauty about a microdose because, like I say, that you have to
That's why, because I don't stretch. It makes me feel like I'm stretchy.
the microdose is your body's telling you, like, yo, stretch, motherfucker. You need to stretch.
I'm thinking about doing it for this week. Microdosing
fungi-
for work.
I think so.
Like I'm telling you, well, you should try microdosing before you go do an exercise, like whatever exercise activity you do,
I've been shook
and
to
realize
do that,
that
but I think
you
I'm gonna have
probably your workout at the end of your workout, you'll be like, wow, damn, like I could do a little more than I normally can, and just credit it to the fungi's. Those were helping you. They were working out with you.
Okay, you've convinced me to microdose at work this week, so
You should.
I'm
You
gonna
should.
do that.
I microdose all the time at work. Like sometimes it helps me better. Like I have so I realized that I've smoked weed all my life because of weed calms me down. Like it helps me be more chill because my anxiety is always on 100. My stress is always on 100 because I overthink things. And I realized that weed helped me my whole life as a youth. I realized wow, it helps me calm down. So there is medicinal value in weed. Weed for me has done that.
Yeah,
But then
my bad. I wasn't talking bad about weed, so yeah.
No, of course. But there's different perceptions of it. Because, for some people, it's like, nah, I don't fucking do weed. It makes me, in the couch. I'm not productive, whatever. But for me, it just calmed me down. But then when I realized, when I started discovering mushrooms, I was like, wow, this also does that for me. It makes me more focused. It makes me more, it just makes me feel like a better human. Like an optimized human. Why would I not do it? Listen, there's people that, so there's in Silicon Valley, a lot of high performing humans microdose because they see the value in it.
In
a lot
the
of
first episode of the show in Netflix, the first thing they talked about, so not from shrooms, but I'm assuming as a segue to that, where they were discussing how they were taking LSD, and then that was actually the birth and the creation of computers, because
of Silicon Valley itself.
Of Silicon Valley in itself, because these dudes were seeing other things, and I was like, wow, man, this shit can take your brain elsewhere.
100%. They were seeing beyond the spectrum.
Yeah. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy.
But it was, why? Because they took these psychedelics that opened up their mind. The brain is so fucking powerful, but we don't really a lot of humans don't tap into the power of the brain like that.
We only use 20% of the brain, no? Something
Possibly.
crazy like that. We don't use the full brain.
This helps you unlock your brain in
That's
ways
crazy.
that you don't that you normally
That's a
don't
fact.
fuck with.
I don't know what
you
the
normally don't
percentage
see. Yeah, 100%, and that's why I'm saying not 100% that we don't use.
No,
it.
no,
because
but
then we'd be dumb as
no,
shit.
but that it's a
I
very
agree with
small
what you're saying.
percent that we
I agree with what
use.
you're saying, but it just basically unlocks. Listen, the human brain is so powerful, and we put a lot of shit in the filing cabinet. We don't hold ourselves accountable for a lot of shit. We tell ourselves stories of a lot of shit. These filters to live, this world that we live in.
Right.
But mushrooms, I tell you, mushrooms are basically they hold you accountable. If you take these shits, they hold you accountable for your own bullshit. You're gonna be dig deep in your brain, and you're gonna you're either gonna like the truths you see, or you're gonna run away from them. If you run away from them, that's fine. That's the people that say oh, mushrooms aren't for me. I tried it. It unlocked this crazy shit that they just couldn't they couldn't tame, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but at least you experience it. I say that everybody should experience it. That's why I try to share this with my friends. That's why I'm so grateful that you're open to trying psychedelics and the research and doing your own research in it, because it's very important. It's a catalyst for growth. I have to share with my friends.
Stress
100%.
with the utmost importance to any listener, to any person that I would wanted to share this with, that
it needs to be done in a controlled setting.
100%. You have to follow the
controlled
protocol.
setting.
I was gonna ask you,
Yes.
say, can you be my spotter?
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely, baby. I got you. I will always
time.
spot you. No. It does need to be because it for me. The first time we tried it was not in a club or anything.
here.
It was here. It was in my, and I'm like, all right, and it was just love. Like it was dope.
That's what it does. It facilitates love.
And the only other times in my cousin's crib in Rody's backyard, and I just sit there and I'm like, wow, man, I see the 20 mosquitoes fucking trying to kill me, but I see them niggas and I love them. I'm like, they're just trying to live. Let me give them a little bit.
Here's when I realized, like, wow, these mushrooms are so powerful. Because listen, I think we went off on another track, but I hate driving New York City. So when I find myself driving New York City and then I see shitty drivers or people cutting me off or people just breaking the rules and have no consideration for human life or that we are sharing the road, I get a little road rage in the car, inside the car. I never take it outside the car, but I get it in the car,
These motherfuckers.
Right? But then when I saw those things, when I'm driving and I saw those things happen to me, no, but you know what? I started feeling more empathetic. I was like, maybe they're in a rush. Maybe it's a grandma. I don't know what's going on with their lives. That's when I realized, they just don't know. Maybe they're just not. I can't expect like everybody to be as sharp as me and considerate of other humans on the road. Yeah. I just felt more empathetic, and then I realized, like, wow, these shits work because I know that's when I'm like, as a human myself, I don't like driving. Like I like driving, but I don't like driving in big cities.
Motorcycle outside.
Look at that. That's New York. That's fucking New York City traffic. That's New York City traffic, right?
We love them. We love them. May you be safe on your journey.
We do, but it's like, that noise is like, or that congestion we could do without.
So right now, I get it. We went over the hour mark, so we're gonna transition into a section that I call last call for words.
Yeah.
This is super fun, man. Like just talking. I know we went in 20 different tangents.
We went all over the place, but it's good though. It's good. We went all over the place. I think before, you know what? Let me just drop it to you, Los. You last call for words.
Me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So last call for words is just us.
It's just us.
Yeah, like
real quick.
What we want our listeners to take away from
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
From this listening session. I mean, from this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't microdose, but I know that a lot of people go through the same thing that I go through, which is stress, anxiety, just life issues that sometimes overwhelms us.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Some people do alcohol, some people go overboard and do something crazier like heavy drugs like heroin,
cocaine. They hit the slopes. They're fucking skiing. They're skiing.
And people have other ways to deal with it. But I personally never been a drug person. Besides weed and alcohol, but I would be very interested in microdosing going forward. Like my mind has opened up, and I think that that's something that I could be interested in because, like I was saying before, my anxiety, my stress is constantly on a high level, and it wears on me.
100%.
And once in a while, I do want to decompress that and just release it somewhere. I just haven't found that medium to do it. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if I have a spotter like Ron here at an H,
you're good.
I trust H. I trust H.
I think H is starting to kick in now.
You know what's good? These guys are experienced, so they already navigated these waters.
FYI,
so that's what's even better.
For our listeners and viewers, I'm the only one who has not microdosed here. So everybody else is on a different level than I am.
We're just converting him. We're converting.
I'm interested in doing that, and that's something that our listeners and viewers should consider as well, because I think that it could
responsibly.
It can be beneficial, and I'm looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to build off of what you said, so like if anybody listening and has curiosity in these, it's very important to follow protocol. I think that if you're curious,
and I don't mean to cut you off, and this will be the last words for you. So as last call for words, would you mind also introducing what are the steps to the protocols that you have implemented?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like list them out.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's very, very important that you start with a small dose. You need to start, if you've never experienced psychedelics before, you need to start small. It's like medicine. Respect the power of the medicine. Respect the power of the fungi. They want to help you. They will help you navigate whatever waters you need to navigate, whether it be recreational or medicinal. Whatever you're seeking, they're going to help you, but you need to respect the rules of them. The rules are basically you should start small if you've never done it before. So you should start microdosing and gradually build your dose up to go up to 0.5 gram. Anything above 0.5 gram is considered recreational, or it can be recreational waters depending on your weight. Did you eat? It's like medicine. So it affects you based on your weight, based if you have an empty stomach or not. So consider that. Always start small. When you start to navigate in recreational waters, I advise to gradually build to your dose. But if you're not doing that, and let's say you just bought an eighth with your friends and you want to go have fun, make sure that somebody in that circle of fun is not taking it, so that can be the chaperone, basically, can baby you guys.
Designated driver.
Can be the designated driver, because you need it, especially if you're doing recreational stuff and you're not really diving into the research. You just want the recreational. The most important thing is that you need to have a spotter. Always start small. So the steps are basically start small, microdose. If you're going to recreation, you need a spotter. Make sure that you have somebody that is not doing it, because it'll help you navigate maybe a bad experience. You need that. I don't recommend you taking recreational doses on your own without the proper research, because it's dangerous. It could be a really, really bad trip.
Is that what you would like to
walk
away?
No, the walk away is that the whole world needs to try mushrooms. It makes nicer, loving humans. Yes. So there's a lot of medicinal value in it. For everybody that suffers with depression, suffers with anxiety, focus issues, just anything really.
It sounds like an overall cure.
It's an overall cure. It is. It's human optimization. So
I'm all for it.
Just try it. I share it with my friends. So I want the whole world. This is medicine that the whole world should have. If the whole world had this medicine, we would be a lot more nicer, loving humans. So I just leave you with that. If you it makes a nicer, loving world. We should try to operate more off of love than off of greed and business.
Yes.
That's really it.
Nope. Lady H, last words? Last call for words?
I'm excited to microdose out for work this week.
Human optimization. You're going to be sharp.
It'll be interesting. So
really
let us know in the following weeks how
I
it
will.
goes.
I'll make a log in my notes on my phone.
That's actually very, very important, because I'm sorry.
No.
In my research, I did take notes on myself, and that's when I started to realize like this day I felt really good, or like just take notes on yourself, because it's basically microdosing will help you realize patterns in yourself. It basically plugs you into you. It's like you want to plug yourself into you and study yourself. Wow. That's really what it is.
Whoa.
So it plugs you into you. Some people fear their own selves, or some people have devised these filters, and the way they navigate the world is like, I can't have mushrooms. I can't plug myself into me. That's fine, but at least everybody should try it. So go back, take notes. Absolutely,
I will take notes. And
it'll help your research.
This next week, I'm putting up a show, so it's going to be interesting.
That's
to
probably going to be the best show ever. You're going to be optimized.
I know, right?
You're going to be fucking
like,
optimized.
Oh my god, what am I going to get at the end of this week? I'm excited.
For sure.
I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely.
Ron Kain?
I had a lot of thoughts, and it's one of those things where you're just trying to organize and make sure you can say things cohesively, because there's excitement in the ideology of like, wow, man, I think that if we all are just nicer to each other, it's beautiful. The fact that the mushroom itself, when we were talking about how symbiotic it is, where when it grows and it's all interconnected, and it's the fucking Avatar ideology, right? Where it's all connected to Mother Earth and everything is beautiful, and we're connected to one another. It's all beautiful. I find joy in knowing that there can be that peace and harmony, and all this other shit is just surface level noise.
It is.
It's just like super surface level noise.
100%.
And when when I'm in that state that I am right now hitting, kind of, because now it's kind of smacking. What I say smacking is now that I'm getting high. I'm like, wow, this is a lovely experience. Yo, you guys are dope. You guys are beautiful. And I'm right now in the moment again.
You feel the love.
Yeah,
you feel that
and
love.
I was like, wow, this is dope.
Yeah.
So that's why the message is getting a little convoluted. But in regards to just being responsible and mindful of how you introduce yourself into something like this, it's knowing what you want at the same time.
because we didn't even touch on how dark the situation got for you in DR and all that. Because honestly, it should never be about that. Like, yo, if you're in a not a good mind, if you're not in the right state of mind, don't fuck with this shit. Like, don't. You need to put yourself in a space, in the headspace and everything. And now I kind of fucking feel bad, Los, that I know that you've told me I know that 90% of your time you're stressed and you're not in a good headspace. I hope that the 10% is that I'm bringing joy.
Absolutely.
These connections.
You and
like,
H are that positive 10%.
Yeah. And it's just like, yo, make sure that you, yourself, your loved ones, everybody is okay. And I think, and not only okay, but that they're doing good. Because not only at a surface level, but definitely at a mental level. And shit, if we're only using 10% or 20% of our brains,
It's a crazy number.
It's
wild.
like insanity. And that's the insanity part. So I leave you with the thought of just wanting to explore yourself more.
100%.
That's the main thing. Explore yourself more, love yourself more, and this is just words nobody cares. My name is Ron Kain, and now we're out.
I feel jealous that you guys are all dosed and I'm
Yo,
not.
nigga, I am so high right now. And I'm just like,
Hit me like 15 minutes
I was
ago.
so jealous.
Yeah.
15 minutes ago.
Well, so here, I don't.
H 15 minutes ago?
Yeah.
I don't
just
really
got
feel
smacked.
anything. I only took a 0.2. I don't feel anything. I feel normal.
I just feel happy.
Is
But
that your
like,
tolerance kicking in?
no, it's a very sub-perceptual dose. Like, I didn't take a 0.5, and I guess it could be my tolerance. Yes, I microdose a lot. So going back to your question, you build tolerance to it, which is why you should weed, like not microdose all the time. But here's the fun thing about fungi is, like, when you need it, you need it. When you don't need it, you don't need it. You know
I'm still
it.
recording.
It's
Is
not
that
addictive.
cool?
It's not addictive. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
You need to include that in the thing.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not addictive.
I'm gonna use this because
The mushrooms I'm telling you, they're so fucking powerful that once you tap into their power, there's gonna be a moment in life if you experiment with them, there's gonna be a moment in your journey that you're gonna be like, these shits are powerful. I understand. And like everybody that fucks with them comes to that understanding, which is why it facilitates like love and deeper humans. And if you just meet a person that like talks to you about psychedelics or maybe is open-minded to psychedelics, they're usually like that relationship or that rapport is usually facilitated so much easier than you just meet somebody that's not. And you just understand it when you do enough mushrooms. Like this whole like relationship and this whole bond that we have here, a lot of that is has made it stronger too, because of like you guys are great, loving, open, welcoming humans, but you've also like started exploring mushrooms. We've all explored mushrooms together, so we've all like seen the value in each other, even though like sometimes I'm not always around all the time, but there's still like, there's value
When you
in
come,
the human.
it's always
like,
great seeing you.
and it's like when I see this guy, it's like, oh man, this guy is fucking, it's amazing energy. So it's just loving fucking energy that you just like, I don't know, like once you start to play with it, like you see, or you just realize like, hey, you know what, like these are not for me, but at least you tried it. So
I want to try because I want to
so
see.
you know,
I want to
it.
go into try to see where my brain is untapped.
Brother, you are a high performing individual already. Like if you tap into this shit and you harness this power, you're gonna be uneven. Like your performance is gonna increase. You're gonna be an optimized human. I tell you, I would do a disservice to the world if I didn't share with my humans.
So nice right now.
I'm good.
You look
Like, they
so
didn't share,
like.
you're like in the, like.
I'm happy.
Sometimes when you take a recreational dose, like there's doses that I've taken that like I take a large dose. Now this is when I'm seeking fun, right? And then like I take a dose and in 45 minutes I just feel like this tickling in my stomach. Like I need to laugh. There's nothing funny around me. There's nothing, like I'm alone. I am just alone, but I need to laugh. And then I've had that experience with certain strains,
I have a feeling I'm gonna be like a crappy, but like Ron.
Bro, it unlocks a lot of emotion and shit.
Because I'm an emotional guy. So.
Yo, me too, brother.
I mean, the cry is like, yo, it's just nice.
It's a nice
because
cry.
It's,
It's a nice cry.
beautiful cry.
It is. Listen, there's times where like I sometimes blow my brains out when I'm feeling like, yo, I need to like, there's something in this, there's something I need more, and I take the mushrooms, and it's just basically like emotion that we have built up that we need to let out.
Yeah.
And I think that as men, sometimes we bottle those emotions.
Oh, we bottle all those
We
things.
bottle that
I mean,
shit,
that's-
funnel it, forget it. Not even felt. Let's move
What
forward.
emotions?
Yeah, exactly. What emotions?
There's no emotions.
But you got to be more in tune with your emotions, even if it's on your own time with the mushroom. So that for me, it facilitates that a lot because I bottle up a lot of shit. I gotta perform. I gotta be like
the
a
whole
same
part
thing.
of
Yeah,
the
you gotta
fucking
perform.
Same thing. It's like,
podcast.
people ask me at work, so how do you do what
This
you
the
do?
whole
It's like,
podcast.
it's a Broadway show for me. I go in there for 8 hours, I do my part, and that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And you gotta be out. You gotta check
gotta
out.
be
You gotta
out.
put on a different face.
And that's it.
It's
Yeah,
fucking.
que no te tengo right now.
Let me get out of here, guys.
Already?
Gotta run out.
No.
Gotta-
That's so fast. This
I
is
know, I
weird.
have
You're
to,
leaving
like-
so soon.
Oh,
That's
we
why I
can
was
turn on
stressing
the
about
AC.
time.
Oh,
I'm
nah,
like, fuck, man,
the
I'm
time
running
is
late. I know people
beautiful.
are on a clock. No, I was saying before when I was running late. No, I'm chilling.